Do you struggle to meet people in the real world? Approach others with romantic or platonic interest? Maybe you don't know what to say, or you're worried you'll be too weird. Well, I have the perfect solution for you. Shark facts. Shakira. People love shark facts. Sharks are so cool. There's so many of them, and they are very successful pickup lines. The average shark fact pickup line has a 100% success rate. That is a real statistic. I did the math myself. You might be thinking, Lindsay, there's no way shark facts work that well. But they do. And here's the key. You have to know the fact and also have plenty of information to back it up. Because if they're interested, you're gonna keep talking about that shark fact. And if they're not interested, they were never gonna be worth your time anyway. So today, I'm gonna introduce you to some cool shark facts you can use as pickup lines. I'll be expecting some thank yous and wedding invitations in the comments. Let's get the general information out of the way, which, by the way, all the information in this section can be used as pickup lines. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the general information section has some of your favorite pickup lines that you plan to use, some of the facts you feel most drawn to. So I suggest you start taking notes now. Sharks belong to an ancient lineage of fish, Chondrichthyes, the cartilaginous fish. These fish have skeletons made of, yes, cartilage, and includes groups we know and love today like sharks, skates, rays, sawfish, and ratfish. And this class has been evolving for over 400 million years. To put that into perspective, trees didn't exist until right after the 400 million year ago mark. So, sharks and their ancient relatives have been around longer than trees have. The origin of this group existed in a world without trees. Jot that down. Like you would expect from an ancient lineage, the Chondrichthyes have some pretty heinous prehistoric relatives, like Helicoprion, famous for the buzzsaw jaw, or Odestus, the scissor-toothed shark, kinda two buzzsaw jaws going on, Stethocanthus, a very cute little guy. If you're drawn to this area of the shark timeline, I suggest checking out my prehistoric shark video, where I talk about how fucked up the prehistoric sharks were. It's called Prehistoric Sharks Were Fucked Up. All of these can be used as pickup lines as well in this video. But don't go yet, because I think you're gonna like the facts in this one. And they're arguably even cooler because they're about sharks that exist today, so you can see them with your own eyes today. You don't have to just imagine shit, you can witness and observe. I have both cats in here, and usually I lock them out before I start filming, but they wouldn't leave, so maybe if I pick them up and introduce them, they're gonna wanna leave. Come here, say hello to the camera, turn around. This is Koya. Say hello, say hi.
Are you ready for sniff inspection?
Thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh, Odie. Ah, shit. Think I can grab him. Odie, look, just say hi. Just say hi really quick. And this is Odie. Odie. Okay. And they still don't want to leave. Oh my god, they're fighting. You're distracting me. Let's go. Everyone out. Thank you. Today's sharks are found in oceans all around the world and are found as deep as 12,000 feet below the surface of the ocean. Many sharks are oviparous, i.e. reproduce via eggs. Some sharks are viviparous, i.e. give live birth. Yeah, like mammals. Placenta and all. And then some are ovoviviparous. Sounds like a fucking car engine, which is essentially the last one without a placenta. Ovoviviparous. Then there's a few cases of sharks reproducing asexually, meaning the female just makes herself pregnant if there's no males around. Last little thing to note about Chondrichthyans as a whole is that they're covered in what are called placoid scales. Different groups have different shaped placoid scales, which share an overall structure of a hard, enamel-like covering over a core of dentine, like teeth, sometimes called skin teeth. So, Chondrichthyans are covered in skin teeth. Totally and completely badass. We know a lot about sharks. We have a whole week dedicated to them in July. They are iconic, and arguably the most iconic shark is the great white shark. Just so we're clear, this is my transition into the first official fact to use as a pickup line. Great white sharks are found all over the world, and have had countless movies dedicated to them, regardless of how slanderous they might be. They're probably the most covered shark species in media in general. Despite this, there are still some big gaps in our understanding of great white sharks, like how and where they give birth. No one has ever seen a great white shark give birth. The closest we've ever gotten to that is footage that actually just came last year, in July of 2023, off the coast of Santa Barbara. Some scientists flying a drone spotted what might have been a newborn great white shark, possibly days or even hours old. Something that somehow no one has ever seen before. But they didn't actually witness the shark being born, so they couldn't officially say for sure it was a newborn great white shark. But when you look at all the evidence listed in the paper, the proof is in the pudding. So let's go through it. The first thing the researchers noticed from the footage is that they were looking at a small, 5-foot-long white shark with rounded fins and some sort of white substance flaking off of it as it swam around. Right away, that sounds like a newborn baby shark. But to be on the safe side, they propose two possibilities. One, that this is a newborn baby great white shark with intrauterine, i.e. birthing substances still flaking off of its body. Or two, that this is a white shark with some weird, rare skin condition currently unknown to science. To figure out which one makes the most sense, we're going to list out all the facts they mention in the paper. While we don't know exactly where and how they give birth, scientists have kept track of specific locations thought to be birthing grounds for decades. Typically, areas that have a large amount of young great white sharks that stay restricted to the area for about a year or so while they're getting their footing. Sounds like birthing grounds. Since 1985, the area from Santa Barbara to northern Baja California has been thought to be a birthing ground. They see a lot of young great white sharks there for the first year of their lives. Also, the smallest known white shark was found in this area, near the US-Mexico border in 2020. It had features similar to white shark embryos. One of those is rounded fins. So, probably a very, very, very young white shark. Quite compelling evidence for the area, if you ask me. Now, the substance on the shark's body. Great white sharks, as embryos, are known to feed on their mother's eggs as a source of nutrition, a practice called oophagy. They're also known to consume the uterine milk the mother produces as another source of nutrition. Yes. When exactly and for how long this substance is produced is not clear. So, theoretically, this could stick to newborns as they are birthed and then flake off of them as they're swimming around. Another thing, very large, mature sharks were spotted in the same area 2 days before, and on the same day, the little mystery shark was spotted.
Coincidence? I think not!
So this all, to me, sounds like newborn baby white shark. Skin disorders are really rare in sharks and rays, and so for this to be the case, it would be completely unknown to science as of up until now? I don't think so. One that involves a flaky white film that when shedded off exposes a normally colored shark underneath? I don't think so. Another thing, the rounded fins, a trait of great white shark embryos, like the one spotted in Baja California. That, combined with the flaky white substance, combined with larger sharks around. To me, that's a newborn great white. If true, this would be the first newborn great white ever spotted, just last year. I think that's pretty sick. But of course, scientists can't say for sure that's what it was because they didn't observe the shark being born. So until they watch a newborn great white shark being born, can't really say anything about this. But I'm willing to put money on it, and I will say that's what it was until proven otherwise. And personally, I think it makes a great pickup line. People know great whites, people like baby animals, combine the two, and boom, you've got a pickup line with a 200% success rate. You will attract 2 people every time you talk about it. 2 for 1 pickup line. But maybe that one's a bit too shaky for you. The fact is not really solidified, not really standing on solid ground at the moment. So how about sharks that can stand on solid ground? Yeah, sharks that can walk on land. The Epaulette sharks, found in Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and you guessed it, Australia. This shark is guaranteed to spark up a conversation because they are cool and also super cute. The main 2 traits people like talking about with sharks. So, let's run through it. Epaulette sharks are small, about 3 feet long, and live in shallow reef habitats. They're named such for that prominent black spot, apparently reminiscent of military decor, which I guess I get. When I first look at them, I don't necessarily first think military. I think more so Jupiter's raging storm, or a black hole, or a solar eclipse. Space shit, I guess. Maybe they should be called the galaxy shark. I think that's pretty cool, but Epaulette works too, and that's what they're named. So, when you think of shallow reef habitats, you probably imagine them as being very warm and cozy. You imagine lots of fish and turtles there, like a Lisa Frank coloring book. But that is often not the case. These environments can be harsh and difficult to adapt to because waves and tides fuck shit up. Think about it. Shallow water, waves are just pummeling it constantly. Just beating it the fuck up, moving shit around. You know those exhibits at aquariums that like simulate waves on a rocky shore that are really just demonstrations of how barnacles get waterboarded constantly? Not actually, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying that shoreline ecosystems are not easy, relaxing environments to live in because you also have changing tides. Very quickly, a shallow reef community turns into a series of disconnected tide pools. And if you get stuck in the wrong tide pool, you are donezo from hypoxia, or lack of oxygen, or maybe just a shitty tide pool in general. And so, the Epaulette sharks have a 2-step solution to this problem. First, if they happen to get stuck out of water, or in a hypoxic pool, they can shut themselves down, lowering their heart rate and breathing. And they can survive like this for up to 2 hours. The second part of this 2-step solution is they can use their fins like legs. They can walk themselves back into the water, or to a more suitable pool. And they also use their fins like this just day to day, on the ocean floor, shopping for a quick fish or crustacean meal. Like I said, they are so cool and also very sick. Obviously, a very suitable fact to use as a shark pickup line. If you want to take it a step further, keep the conversation going, I would suggest going into the evolutionary context. I would argue it's a very cool direction to go into, because it's likely that movements and behaviors like that of the Epaulette shark are similar to the ones that our ancestors did when they first got out of the water. The vertebrate transition to land, tiktaalik. All tetrapods vertebrates with limbs, evolved from lobed-finned fish that at some point, like 380 million years ago, started spending more and more time on land. And now boom, here we are, and also squirrels and geckos. The nitty-gritty of it, the mechanisms and all that were different. The lobed-finned fish had a different set of traits that allowed them to transition to land, but there's still plenty to talk about when comparing them to the walking sharks. So does this mean that 10 million years from now we could have fully 100% land sharks? An interesting hypothetical to explore on a first date. Alright. This next one will be good for anyone who enjoys a good story about unexpected friendship. As time goes on, scientists discover more and more animals that not only like to live in gathering groups, but also choose who they want to associate with. And in the last decade or so, lemon sharks have turned out to be quite the social butterflies. They choose who they hang out with, and they have also shown to learn skills from their peers, which is sick. Typically, we think of sharks as solitary creatures, aggressively antisocial even. They have a bad rap when it comes to community and social bonds. But turns out in many cases, that is far from true. We've known for a while that many sharks occasionally come together in large groups, like the basking sharks that I mentioned in the Junkspiracies Megalodon video. Completely unexpected if you ask me. Scientists think these groups form for communication purposes, mating purposes, group protection, etc. And in 2009, a research group wanted to take a closer look, understand it further, to see if sharks actively choose who these groups consist of. And so, they looked at lemon sharks, a species already known for performing loose social behaviors. They set up a series of holding pens in the ocean with all these different compartments that would allow the researchers to provide the sharks with different social opportunities. Hang out with a shark versus be alone. Hang out with a similar size shark versus a different size shark. They also fed the sharks regularly to make sure that they weren't coming together to hunt together. So there would not necessarily be a specific incentive to just hang out. And what do you know? The sharks preferred to hang out rather than be alone by a landslide. They also preferred to hang out with sharks of a similar size rather than a different size. Another study done later in 2012 tested if these group interactions benefited each other with learning. They set up this contraption for the sharks to hit a target so they could get a treat. They trained one group of sharks to get the gist of it, then put other untrained sharks near the trained sharks to watch them move around. They just kept hitting the target and doing the thing. And what do you know? The untrained sharks caught on really quickly and hit the target a lot more than untrained sharks who didn't watch the trained sharks, who just went in completely blind. So, lemon sharks have friends and also learn from friends. And that is pretty cool. I know there's some actual pickup lines in there that I just can't grasp onto. Hey girl, if you were a lemon shark, I would want to be your friend. That sucks. Hey girl, if we were both lemon sharks and put into separate experimental compartments, I would always find my way back to you. That sucks too. I know there's something in there. I just don't know what it is. I'll keep thinking on it. But for now, I'll move on to one that is a nice combination of a few different things. So, if you like tigers and you like sharks, you probably like tiger sharks. And if you like tiger sharks, you probably like learning cool things about tiger sharks. And if you're looking to find someone with the same interest in tiger sharks, I have a very interesting recent fact for you. One of the coolest things tiger sharks have done in the last few years is discover an entirely unknown underwater savanna. They discovered it. A massive plot of seagrass that has increased the known amount of seagrass habitats by 41%, all thanks to tiger sharks. So, seagrass is a very important underwater habitat, found in shallowish waters all around the world. It provides food and shelter for things like scallops, stingray, seahorses, cephalopods, turtles, etc. Seagrasses also help trap and stabilize sediments and store huge amounts of carbon, which in turn slows down the effects of climate change. Understanding the presence of seagrass helps us better understand the systems that are operating on our planet. When it comes to studying it, it gets a bit tricky. Seagrass can grow at any depth sunlight can hit. In the Bahamas, mapping seagrass was initially done by just scuba divers going down, checking it out. But they couldn't go as deep as sunlight hit in the water column. So in 2022, researchers recruited some seagrass residents who can, and frequently, do access these depths. The tiger sharks, the top of the food chain in the grass. So, scientists equipped 7 of them with cameras and tracking devices and recorded their whereabouts as the sharks perused the water for their prey. With the help of these sharks, the researchers discovered 35,000 square miles of previously unknown seagrass. For reference, that's about the size of Portugal, or half the size of Florida. A fucking huge amount of seagrass. And this, like I said, increased the known amount of seagrass habitats by 41%. A big thank you to tiger sharks everywhere, and a great fact to jot down in your notes as a feel-good heartwarmer. People love heartwarming stories about sharks, and so, another one that you should be aware of is one that you can get directly involved in. It's with my friends at Planet Wild, a nature protection organization that each month works globally on a variety of projects to protect endangered species, revive forests, or restore ocean ecosystems. You might remember I told you about their rescue frog mission in the Chytrid fungus video. Well, they launched a new mission to raise baby sharks and release them into the wild. They partnered with Shark Lab Malta, a nonprofit that saves cat sharks. They often get caught in drift nets and sold at local markets, and this includes cat shark mothers with fertilized eggs. So, Planet Wild is helping Shark Lab Malta to collect these shark eggs from markets, incubate them, and release them back into the wild once they're hatched and matured. And all of this is thanks to Planet Wild's online community who funded the project. They're crowdfunding for nature. You can sign up for a monthly or yearly membership, give whatever amount feels right to you, and that money goes directly to funding their projects. Their team travels to the project of the month, documents the work you're helping to finance on site, and uploads the footage to their YouTube channel, where they tell you exactly what was invested, what was immediately achieved, and what will be the ideal long-term outcome. I know for a lot of people, getting involved in conservation feels like a dream, with a lot of obstacles like full-time jobs, inaccessibility, just life in general. Planet Wild is the perfect solution. No matter how crazy your life gets, you get to be a real part of conservation efforts and see the direct impact of your contributions every single month. Not only is this positive, hopeful, important on its own, but it'll also feel really good and can serve as a great icebreaker for potential suitors.
Shut up and take my money!
Like, hey girl, insert shark fact, and also, I'm part of a conservation group that just helped release baby sharks back into the wild. Boom. You just became the most interesting person in the room. If you don't feel like supporting Planet Wild anymore, you can cancel at any time. No questions asked. So, go sign up at the link in the description and use code Lindsay9 to get your first month comped by me. Get involved with real conservation and see the difference it's making, one project at a time. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and let me know if any of these shark facts work for you. I'll be waiting for your updates in the comments. Check out my Patreon for behind the scenes updates and our Discord server. And for now, stay curious. The world has a lot for us to learn. See ya!